Hold up. How did these pastors go from preaching in the church house on Sunday morning to actually going to prison? Yeah, they went from preaching in the church house on Sunday morning to actually going to prison. Y'all have to see this video, man. Make sure you hit that like button and the subscribe button. Check this out.
Now this is an update of a story that I have been keeping, a close ear to. I've been listening and watching the videos that have come across on the Toledo, Ohio news about this particular case of 3 Ohio pastors, Pastor Anthony Haynes, Pastor Cordell Jenkins, and Prophet. Come on, Prophet. I'm surprised you didn't see none of this coming. Prophet Kenneth Butler, who all they were accused, and now they're going to spend time in prison because Pastor Haynes has been convicted. Pastor Cordell Jenkins and Prophet Kenneth Butler took a plea deal because they were like, man, look, why would we go to trial when they have the evidence? The FBI had everything. They had the phone calls. They had surveillance cameras of when y'all went to the Red Roof Hotel, receipts for different things, text messages. They were like, it's a waste of time. They got us. But Pastor Anthony Haynes is the only one who wanted to go to trial. And since he went to trial and did not take a plea deal, he is probably going to face life in prison for sex trafficking young underage girls. I am glad this trial is over. I'm glad that all parties involved will get justice will be served. I am glad, and for their wives too. There were some of the wives who got involved with this, trying to protect their man. These first ladies did anything for their man. Now I'm going to let you all watch this video because I want to refresh your memory on this case and also let you all know some new information that came out while Pastor Anthony Haynes was going on with his trial. And some of that new information is that not only was he messing with these underage girls, he was also sexually assaulting his stepdaughter. Take a look.
Right now, a local pastor is facing his second day of trial. Anthony Haynes is accused of sex trafficking and sexually exploiting a young girl for 3 years. Ariel Onstadt has been in the courtroom. She joins us live now. Ariel, the main victim testifying for quite a while today.
That's just it, Christy. In over 3 hours of testimony, the main victim in this case told the courtroom that Anthony Haynes manipulated her. She said she was afraid to speak out for over 3 years because she didn't know if anyone would believe her due to Haynes' position within the church. As she said, I just let it happen. The victim says her mother introduced her to Anthony Haynes at Haynes Church. He took on the role of a father-like figure for her. After her mother's neglect, the victim moved in with Haynes in the summer of 2014 at 14 years old. Just weeks after moving in, the victim says Haynes and his stepdaughter, Alexis Fortune, asked her if she could keep secrets. When Haynes and his stepdaughter later had oral sex in front of her, she said she was in shock. She says Haynes later coaxed the two of them to have oral sex while he recorded it on his phone and made comments. For the next 3 years, the victim says Haynes had sex with her multiple times a week at cars, motels, and churches. At 15, she says Haynes introduced her to Kenneth Butler, who began having sex with her, also paying her. When the victim moved out of Haynes' house, she started going to her guardian's church, Abundant Life Ministries. There, she met Cordell Jenkins. Now, during her entire testimony, the victim remained calm, and she ended her testimony by saying she's not going to stay down. She wants to use this experience to help other girls who've been abused or trafficked. Now, former pastor Kenneth Butler also took the stand. Coming up at 6, I'll break down more witness testimony as well as Haynes' involvement with former pastors Butler and Jenkins. For now, reporting live in downtown Toledo, Ariel Onstadt, WTOL 11.
All right, fam, let's go in. A 19-year-old woman told a jury in Toledo, Ohio courtroom that she had been groomed for sex when she was 14 years old and encouraged to have sex with 2 other pastors in the Toledo, Ohio area. Pastor Anthony Haynes faces up to life in prison. Jurors found him guilty this week of charges including sex trafficking and child sexual exploitation. The 2 other Toledo, Ohio pastors, Pastor Cordell Jenkins and Prophet Kenneth Butler, oh my God, I can't believe this, have also pled guilty and are awaiting sentencing. Prosecutors say that Pastor Anthony Haynes paid the girl for sex during a 3-year period after promising her mother in front of the church that he would protect her. He got in front of the church and promised this girl mother that he would protect her. Ah, my God. The 40-year-old former pastor denied having sex with the girl and testified she tried to manipulate him, saying, and I quote, "I am not a pervert." That's what he said to the court. The 19-year-old woman testified Haynes later introduced her to 2 other pastors. The church could not be reached for comment. Now, let me say this. This whole case basically started, this whole situation started with Pastor Anthony Haynes, because Pastor Anthony Haynes had a woman in church who was having some issues. And that woman had a daughter who was 14 years old. And I guess the mother couldn't take care of the daughter. Things were going on in her life. And so Pastor Anthony Haynes and then his wife, Lisa Haynes, took that 14-year-old girl in, who Pastor Anthony Haynes said in front of the church that he would protect and care for her like she was his child, like he was a father, and he wanted the little girl to look up to him like a father. This is what happened. Pastor Anthony Haynes, again, that's his wife right there, and his stepdaughter, Elisa Haynes, who are also involved in this case, and I'll get to that. Pastor Haynes was having sexual intercourse with his stepdaughter, Alexis Fortune. And Pastor Haynes, as you all heard in the news clip, he introduced his sexual activity to victim 1 and said, we're doing this. Can you keep a secret? This will be between us. And he proceeded to do sexual acts with this young victim every day for a 3-year period. Now, when I heard this new information, I was like, oh my God, now everything is starting to make sense. And I was asking myself, First Lady Elisa Haynes, where were you when all this was going on? You were complicit in all of this. There's no way you could tell me you didn't know that your own daughter was having sex with this man who's supposed to be your husband. There's no way you could tell me you didn't know that. And that this girl that you all, brought into your home and told everybody in front of the church that you all were going to care for her and nurture her and, raise her up to be a good woman. There's no way you could tell me that you could not see that there were changes in this child over a 3-year period while your husband, the pastor, was having sexual intercourse with her. This is so sad, and it's sick. And it's sick, too, because First Lady Elisa Haynes and the stepdaughter, Alexis Fortune, while Pastor Haynes and Pastor Cordell and Prophet Kenneth were in jail awaiting for trial, First Lady Elisa Haynes, there she is to the left, and the daughter, Alexis Fortune, who is the stepdaughter of Pastor Haynes, who he was also having intercourse with, they went to the victim's house and told her, look, the trial is coming up and we need you to change your story. And they held the victim at gunpoint. They tied a cord around her neck and they told her if she didn't, they would hurt her. They took the girl, they basically kidnapped the girl, and they said, okay, we're going to Walmart. Let's go to Walmart. We're going to buy some stuff, then we're going to drop you off back at home. The girl escaped when she got at Walmart, and she called the police. And when she called the police went and this is like a soap opera. The police went and arrested the First Lady, Elisa Haynes, and daughter, Alexis Fortune. This is so sad. I'm telling you, these women have done anything for their man. You know, this pastor is basically a demon. This man right here, and you would put your life on the line for that? And she's not the only one. Pastor Cordell Jenkins' wife, Laura Lloyd Jenkins, I did a video on her. Y'all go check that out. She was arrested because she got involved with the child, and she lied and said she didn't know anything about this. And then the FBI caught her in a lie, and she got charged too. And just recently, she came back for trial. She was saying that they were all going to stand trial together, but now everybody just took a plea deal. So now she's awaiting to see what's going to happen to her too. And while she was awaiting, she did what most women do in situations like this. They go and get divorced. That's not going to help you. The lawyer told you that was going to make you look good because you divorced him. You still are going to be responsible for what happened in 2017 and 16 and in 15 when your husband, the pastor of Abundant Life Ministry in Toledo, Ohio, that big old mega church there, you're still going to be responsible for the information that you knew and the information that you, Laura Lloyd Jenkins, told Pastor Anthony Haynes when you went to him and you met him at a pizza shop and you told him things are about to blow up because the FBI and everybody had already gotten involved in this case. And you again, just like First Lady Elisa Haynes did anything for your man, and now y'all got to stand in front of Lady Justice and try to figure out what y'all gonna do. This whole case, I'm so glad this is over. I'm so glad that justice will be served. For the victim, one of the 19-year-old victims said that she was going to use this experience to help other girls who are involved into sex trafficking and things like that. And I wish her the best, and I hope she gets counseling as well. But for my viewers and my subscribers, people who listen to my show, you know I always relate it back to us because these people didn't come from Mars, they didn't come from Venus, they didn't come from Saturn, they came from Earth. So I got to talk because all of it is relating all back to us. These people are among us. So what is it in our society? Don't just be, oh, it's the devil, oh, it's the spirit. Yeah, but here's the thing I'm going to tell y'all who always want to come on my show and quote scriptures. Keep your scriptures and turn up your discernment, okay? You're in these churches jump jiving and shouting and doing all this stuff that they were doing and sha, but no discernment. You can quote scriptures and tell everybody everything, but everybody neglects the kids. They neglect the victims. The women who said that they've been sexually assaulted. The men who say they've been sexually assaulted. Y'all, oh, well, you know, my bishop didn't do that. My prophet didn't do that. He a true man of God. The true man of God gonna be a true man of God in prison. Go preach that. Let's get into the story. A pastor at a women's prison in Las Vegas has been charged with having an inappropriate relationship with an inmate, according to police and court records. Pastor Donald Burse, 55 years old, was booked at the Clark County Detention Center. Court records show that the Nevada's Attorney General's office has filed not one, but 2 felony counts against Pastor Burse of sexual abuse of a prisoner by an employee and 1 felony count of unauthorized custodial conduct by an employee. Now, the pastor's defense attorney, Sean Sullivan, stated that the accusations against Pastor Burse are not credible. He went on to say that Pastor Burse is a longtime respected member of the community who grew up in Las Vegas and graduated from high school here. Mr. Sullivan said that he doesn't believe the allegations have any merit, and he wants everyone to keep an open mind until the evidence comes out. Now, according to investigators, Pastor Burse would come into the housing location to religiously counsel the woman and other inmates. The inmate told investigators that Pastor Burse eventually started flirting with her and that he discussed furnishing her with small bottles of alcohol and other contraband. Man, y'all can't trust these prisoners, man. Y'all get these people, you get caught up all the time. Don't trust any inmate. Look, according to the investigator, sometime in August 2020, Pastor Burse called the woman inside his office, which is located inside the chapel, with the excuse of providing her with the Bible. Take a breath. Pastor, you finna knock her down in the office, man? Come on, got no respect. He's gonna do it in the chapel. Wow. The woman told the investigator that Pastor Burse ended up touching her in a sexual manner. She said that Pastor Burse unzipped his pants, which indicated to her that he wanted her to perform a sex act on him, but she refused. The woman told authorities that Pastor Burse eventually performed a sex act on her on his desk inside the chapel. Take a breath. On the desk, Pastor? Really? Did you at least have a handkerchief or a prayer cloth or something to clean up? Like, wipe your mouth? Oh, God, Pastor, I hope this is not true. Let me go on. I hope this is not true. The inmate alleged that later they discussed what was necessary before engaging in future sexual encounters. This is where people mess up working in prisons. I tell y'all, don't trust them inmates that go for correction officers, therapists, social workers, anybody who works in it. Don't trust these inmates. Look at here. The agreement included that Pastor Burse would bring the inmate spice, alcohol, and makeup if she agreed to perform a sex act on him or allow him to perform one on her, according to the investigator. The inmate later refused to meet with Pastor Burse as she felt that Pastor Burse was not upholding his part of the agreement. And that's why she told, because you had promised her all of this stuff that you were going to bring in, all of this contraband, and you didn't hold true to what you said. And anyone who's working in a county jail or prison, you all know that if you get into an inappropriate relationship with an inmate, you are the one that's going down. You're going to lose your job. You're going to get arrested because you are the authority figure in that jail, in that prison, not the inmate. Now, before we get judgmental, listen, Pastor Burse has denied the accusations when interviewed by authorities. However, the department issued a statement with the Las Vegas Review-Journal regarding Pastor Burse's arrest, and I'll read that verbatim. The Nevada Department of Corrections is aware of the recent summons of Chaplain Donald Burse. The department takes seriously any allegations of this nature. Any alleged criminal behavior will be investigated, prosecuted thoroughly. Due to pending litigation, the department will not release any further details at this time. Now, Pastor Donald Burse is out of custody, and his next court date is scheduled for August the 1st. Now, Pastor Burse said that he didn't do it, and that the only woman in his life is First Lady Burse, whom he's often on social media with, filming with her and taking pictures, and he calls her his queen. Take a look.
Good morning, everyone. Look at the queen over there. Queen, you got some encouraging words for the people this morning.
God is good.
Is that all you have this morning, sweetheart? Say bye to the people, baby.
All right, y'all, let's go in. Look at the lovely couple. You all saw them right there laughing and joking. First lady up there just spending time with her husband. Black love right there. Black love. Now, I just hope the pastor didn't do anything that was stated in the court report, but they will have their day in court. Now, I want to say this because I know there are a lot of pastors and a lot of social workers and correction officers, nurses, people who work in these county jails as well as the prison system. You all have to be careful when dealing with these inmates, the men and the women. A lot of these people are just running game on you. They're con artists. And so many people fall for this over and over again. There are countless stories out there like this. And this is not the first story I've done on a pastor that had an inappropriate relationship with someone in prison. You all remember the Virginia pastor who was working in a men's prison. He was a chaplain as well, and he was sentenced to, I think, 4 or 5 years for having an inappropriate relationship with another male in prison. You all remember this story, Pastor Matthew Mellerson up in Virginia, who's serving 4 years. And it's similar to what's happening in this situation with Pastor Burse. Pastor Matthew Mellerson called a man into not the chapel, they called it the healing room, the healing space. The healing space. What kind of healing y'all doing, man? Obviously, we know now because you're serving 4 years in prison. You all have to be careful when you're working with these inmates. Not only working with them, you got to be careful when they come out of the penitentiary. Some of you all are dating them. You're dating the men, you're dating the women. And a lot of them, not all of them, are con artists. They run game on you all, inside the prison and outside the prison.
All I'm saying is, all your dirty deeds will catch up to you. All your dirty deeds will catch up to you. Especially if you're a pastor, I believe that God is going to hold y'all to a higher standard, and he is going to criticize y'all much more. The pastor of the church. What you doing with yourself, boy?
When he was just 6 weeks old, his father, 30-year-old Arthur Miller, lost his life after a police officer administered a fatal chokehold with his baton. Many years later, Lamor told the New York Daily News, "These officers took some of my future away. I don't hate police. I hate the spirit of racism."
June 14th, 1978, he was brutally strangled to death by the police department, the NYPD. I was 6 weeks old when he died. And you never know how it affects you until you don't have it. I just really wanted to come on today briefly just to remember my father. His name was Arthur Miller. And
but come to find out, Arthur ain't even Lamar's pappy. Say what now? Well, that's according to Arthur's real family. This is getting messy already, and I love it. In news articles published in the wake of Arthur's passing, his widow revealed that she and Arthur shared 4 children between the ages of 8 and 16, and Lamar was only 6 weeks old at the time the incident occurred. The math ain't mathing, honey. Arthur's youngest child, Lolisa, black people name their children anything, won't it? Lolisa, told the New York Daily News that Lamar contacted her much later in life. He introduced himself as her half-brother and inquired about a settlement the family received from Arthur's wrongful death. According to Lolisa, Lamar then asked for some money so he could buy a Toyota Camry. Oh, no, you motherfucking lying. You better catch that bus, ninja. Since Arthur never signed Lamar's birth certificate and Lamar wasn't included in his will, Lolisa asked him to take a DNA test to prove his claim. According to Lolisa, Lamar hung up in her face. He said, hold on, let me introduce you to somebody, Mr. Click. The New York Daily News reached out to Lamar's mother. However, she didn't return their calls. So yeah, we're barely scratching the surface of Lamar's life story, and it's already a hot, stinking mess. According to New York Mag, Lamar attended Eastern New Mexico University, where he studied accounting and videography. Upon his return to Brooklyn, he dabbed in acting and modeling. Modeling? He recorded a few hip-hop songs before becoming a mortgage broker. According to New York Mag, things were going great for him. He even bought a $487,000 house in New Jersey. But then everything went left. To the left, to the left. In 2004, a woman named Kylie Copeland was arrested for her involvement in an identity theft scheme. After doing some digging, authorities believed Kylie was working with or for Lamar in some capacity. So they started their search to hunt him down. They didn't catch up to him until 2005, when a woman told the police that someone bought a motorcycle in Brooklyn in her name. A few days later, an officer pulled over a man wearing a pimp-style red and white waist-length mink jacket in a stolen vehicle. What? Oh, what? Fix it, Jesus. Please tell me y'all got an image. Honey? The driver turned out to be Lamar, of course. From there, his web of lies began to unravel. According to the authorities, Lamar's then-girlfriend worked at a Long Island car dealership. She had access to customers' credit reports, and she kept her computer login information on a piece of paper at her house. Girl, that's rule number 1. You don't keep that information just laying around. Lamar used the info to log into her account and steal the identities of at least a dozen people. He reportedly stole close to $2 million in his identity theft scam. A detective for the police department said, he was very, very good. He's a high roller. He was living the high life. He's got a couple of girlfriends. That sounds fun as hell. Instead of preparing for his trial, where he was facing 17 counts of identity theft, sources claim Lamar spent his time pulling more scammy scams. According to the New York Times, he was still working as a mortgage broker when he offered to help a man and his son purchase a brownstone in Harlem. Lamar closed the deal, and then he reached out to the man privately with a business proposal. If you give me $200,000, I can pay you back in a month, and I'll throw in an extra $25,000. Real, man? That sounds too good to be true. I don't know, Lamar. I'm gonna pay you back. I wanna do it, but I'm kind of nervous. I don't even have that kind of cash on me. I'll have to take out a line of credit and just figure it out. And don't worry, I'm gonna pay you back, and I'll throw in an extra 25 racks on top. I don't know, Lamar. Would I lie to you, man? Give me the money, ninja. Damn. Well, all right. The man then took out a line of credit on his home and gave Lamar the money. In 2006, Lamar filed for bankruptcy, and the man saw his $200,000 go down the toilet. Somebody pass him some toilet paper. The man later took the matter to court and received a judgment of $306,000. The following year, another man sued Lamar after claiming Lamar stole $19,000 from him after selling a Brooklyn home. In 2008, Lamar was found guilty of the identity theft charges and was sentenced to 10 to 30 years behind bars. Lamar was released in 2013 on good behavior, and weeks after being a free man, he founded his church, the Leaders of Tomorrow International Ministry. He told the New York Times, "I have a calling, and I had to do what I had to do." Oh, hell, well, we all seen that you did what you did, so I hope that you doing what you got to do ain't as messy as that. For those who thought his prison stint played a part in his new path, they were wrong. According to the bishop, he was ordained as a minister before he was hauled off to the slammer. Oh, okay. Now, unlike some of the other pastors we featured in our Mega Church Messiness series, Lamar appears to have a firm grasp of the word, but he's kind of like other pastors in terms of what he preaches, which is the prosperity gospel, of course. For those who are unaware, the prosperity gospel is the belief that God rewards the faithful with material wealth and health. Lamar told the New York Mag that he doesn't promise wealth to his parishioners. He said, "I tell you how to get in alignment with the word of God, so therefore you can be in the position of the blessing." It wasn't uncommon for him to pull up to the church in a Rolls Royce or a Bentley, and he would stand at the pulpit wearing ice around his neck and wrists and Gucci from head to toe. The tacky tabernacle, honey. According to the New York Times, at the end of his lengthy sermons, he would pick up a stack of empty envelopes and invite worshipers to sow into the ministry with donations. He started with a request of $500 to $1,000 to get things rolling, and if there were no takers, he lowered the amount. "Can I get $250? How about $150? Anybody got $50? Honey, you can't afford to give me $50? Y'all ninjas broke. Don't nobody got a 50 on them? I need to fill up the Bentley on the way home. You better catch that bus. Give me 50, 25. Help a ninja out. I mean, your pastor. Help your pastor out, damn it. It's unclear how many members were tithing, but according to the bishop, he wasn't making any money from the church. Lamar began rubbing elbows with many influential people, including hip-hop artists and Eric Adams, who was a New York State senator at the time. Eric became Lamar's mentor, and he told the New York Mag they bonded over the story involving Lamar's late father. That ain't his damn daddy. Their friendship continued after Eric was elected as Brooklyn Borough President in 2013. Lamar would later appear at more than a dozen high-profile events alongside Eric. Eric even introduced Lamar at a concert as his good friend and good brother. He also gave Lamar's mom an honorary citation, and he gave Lamar's cousin the key to Brooklyn. Oh, and in case you're wondering, Lamar's cousin just so happens to be Foxy Brown. Not the ill nana. In a subsequent press conference, Eric said he would stand by Lamar's side despite his criminal history. He compared Lamar's rap sheet to his own arrest as a teenager when NYPD officers beat him after he broke into a woman of the night's home. You mean a hoe? She's a hoe. I said that she's a hoe. Hoe. Shh, listen to the rest of the story. As he gained more notoriety and deepened his connections, Lamar gave more interviews about his life story. Of course, the interviews always started with Lamar talking about his father, Arthur Miller. That ain't his damn pappy. That ain't his damn pappy. Arthur's daughter, Lolisa, saw some of the interviews, and she reached out to a local TV station that was set to air a story about Lamar and her father. Lolisa told New York Mag she told the station she opposed the story, and apparently word got back to Lamar. Lolisa said Lamar called her and allegedly told her he was going to F her up. I'ma fuck you up, sis. Lamar denies her allegation. Shortly after their phone call, Lolisa received a call from Mayor Eric Adams. According to Lolisa, Eric promised to support the foundation her family was going to start in her late father's honor. He also promised to present her mother with a proclamation. Child, please don't tell me the mayor was trying to bribe Lolisa in support of Lamar's crazy ass. Please don't tell me that. Eric gave gave Lolisa his cell phone number and told her to reach out anytime. However, according to Lolisa, Eric never bothered to follow up with her. She said, "I'm not asking you for money. I'm not asking you for a donation. I'm not asking you to sign nothing. All I'm asking you to do is get your protege in check and just ask him to please leave us alone. That's it." In July 2015, Lamar was arrested for allegedly hitting his 7-year-old son. The case was dropped after officials found no probable cause to prosecute. But months later, Lamar was arrested for violating an order of protection. According to the New York Post, no information was available because the case had been sealed. In 2016, he was consecrated as a bishop in the Lord's Church. That's the same year he met a woman named Asia, whom he reportedly married and has children with. According to sources, she's the bishop's second wife. They became a blended family with Lamar's children, who were conceived prior to their marriage. 2016 was also the year that the New York Post decided to turn the heat up on Lamar's ass. Lord, this is finna get messy. The publication reported that Lamar used his connection to Mayor Eric Adams to bring awareness to his youth mentorship program. The publication alleged that Lamar had allegedly been raising funds for the program before he legally registered it as a business. He even promoted a non-existent collaborative justice initiative between the Brooklyn District Attorney's Office and his youth program. When the DA office found out, they sent him a cease and desist. Keep our office out your mouth. He also allegedly claimed to have a partnership with the NYPD and the Brooklyn Chamber of Commerce. Both denied that they were partnering with him on any initiatives. By 2019, Lamar allegedly stopped making payments on his Mercedes and a Range Rover and got slapped with a $68,000 judgment. And then he wrote a bad check for $164,000 to the company that built his new home in New Jersey. Fix it, Jesus. First of all, who taking $164,000 checks around here? Where they do that at? This brings us to 2020, when Lamar's tomfoolery was all the way turned up. A woman named Pauline Anderson visited his church while she was recovering from surgery, and Lamar offered to help her buy a new house. Don't do it, girl. Don't do it. You'll really do that for me, Bishop Whitehead? Really? Yes, Sister Pauline. You know, as a man of God, it's my duty to tap that booty. I mean, it's my duty to make sure my parishioners are taken care of. Wow, Bishop. Thank you so much. Yeah. It's good. Hallelujah. Yeah. Go on ahead with all that. Just send me the money, okay? Talk to you later. Gotta go. Bye. Hello, Bishop? Are you there? According to court documents, Pauline withdrew $90,000 from her retirement account and sent it to Lamar. He then sent her a text message that read, "I am a man of integrity and you will not lose." Apparently, Pauline started having second thoughts and asked if she could have her money back. But Lamar said it was too late and the money had already been invested. At the same time, Lamar was reportedly under contract to buy a $4.4 million house in Saddle River, New Jersey, complete with a gym, a pool, and a wine cellar. That's where your $90,000 went, Pauline. You done bought that ninja a house. Okay. On May 25th, 2020, George Floyd was murdered by the police. Lamar took the tragic incident as an opportunity to shed light on the killing of his own father, Arthur Miller. That ain't that man's daddy. Damn. That ain't that man's daddy. That ain't that man's daddy. We can't confirm the exact date, but we do know that Lamar also started referring to himself as Lamar M. Whitehead at some point. The M stands for Miller, which is Arthur Miller's last name, of course. And sometimes Lamar even hyphenates his name as Lamar Miller Whitehead. This ninja is crazy. This ninja crazy as hell. You would think Arthur Miller was some kind of damn celebrity the way he was holding on to this dude. It's hard to piece together together the next series of events since most of the evidence has been scrubbed from the internet. But from what the New York Post has reported, Lamar had some sort of interaction with Arthur Miller's family in 2020, and things didn't go smoothly. Lamar reportedly took to his Facebook and wrote a scathing message directed toward the Miller family. The message read, "I am Bishop Lamar Miller Whitehead, not Arthur Miller. Don't let that go over your head. Hashtag all of you hating Millers. So I will give you a little shine, but I'm really cutting off your lights. Now I will step off on you clowns." Not the man of God making online threats. Arthur's daughter, Lolisa, reached out to Eric since Eric was Lamar's mentor, and Eric told Lolisa to call him if she needed anything. According to Lolisa, she wanted to speak to Eric about Lamar's online behavior, but according to her, Eric never responded. Eric was getting the memo that this ninja was crazy. 6 months later, Lolisa reportedly had a conversation with Lamar, where she told him once again that she couldn't support his claims of being her father's son without any concrete proof. She told the New York Daily News that the exchange got so heated, she reached out to Eric again to see if he could step in and help rectify the situation. But according to Lolisa, Eric ignored her once again. Lolisa has made it clear that she is more than open to entertaining Lamar's claim that he's her half-brother. But over the years, he has been so combative. She told the New York Daily News, "It's about who you are as a person and how you treated us. That's why we don't want anything to do with him. Leave us alone. That's all I'm asking. I have nothing against Lamar. I don't know him. And to be very honest with you, I feel sorry for him." Yeah, because he a little cray-cray. Why won't this ninja just take a blood test? He a little cray-cray now. Ninja, if you never received the invitation to the cookout or the family reunion, if you never got a colorful t-shirt, you know, purple, red, blue with white writing and a picture of the family on the back, you ain't in the family, ninja. You ain't in the family. They never sent you a registration form asking what size t-shirt you want for the family reunion. You not in the family. In November 2020, Eric Adams announced he would be running for New York City mayor. Following his announcement, 12 Democratic candidates began vying to be his successor as Brooklyn Borough president. One of those people just so happened to be Lamar. No, not this ninja. Sit your black ass down. Celebrities and musicians publicly supported him. George Floyd's brother, Terrence, who bonded with Lamar due to the similar tragedies they experienced, also endorsed Lamar.
My father was the first I Can't Breathe. He was the first one to be choked to death, man. Beat and strangled to death in 1978, man, by the 77th Precinct. And then his brother, George Floyd, was just choked to death. And I told him, and I said, "Yeah, man, thank you, man. Your brother gave me justice, man."
I want to, give a shout out to my man. You know what I mean? I totally respect him. I respect his story. I understand his story. He understands my story. So it's an automatic brotherhood right here. You know what I'm saying? He got my support all the way.
Do you think Lamar was on his best behavior during his campaign? The answer is no, according to the feds. Oh, Lord, here we go. Here we go. Girl, top off my margarita and put me some more sour peach rings in there. Thank you, girl. Thank you. The feds suspected that Lamar falsely reported to the city's campaign finance board that he received $22,000 of donations that were eligible for public matching funds. The New York City Campaign Finance Board's matching funds program matches every dollar from a local donor with up to $8 of city funding. That means Lamar was expecting to receive a six-figure payout from the city to help cover his campaign expenses. The only problem with Lamar's donation tally was that the feds discovered he might have funded the donations himself. Prosecutors described his effort as an attempt to defraud the New York City Campaign Finance Board and steal funds from the city. In a strange twist, Eric didn't even endorse Lamar's ass during his campaign. However, Lamar continued to refer to Eric as his mentor, and he vowed to continue in Eric's footsteps if he got elected. In the end, the people of Brooklyn told Lamar to sit his ass down. Sit your ass down. Lamar came in last place in the Brooklyn Brooklyn Borough President race with just a little over 4,000 votes. Lamar moved on to bigger and better projects.
What's up, everybody? This is Bishop Lamor Miller Whitehead. The Lord just blessed me. I just bought a whole apartment complex, y'all.
5 months later, he began legal proceedings to evict the tenants. Wait a minute now. Pump the damn brakes. One tenant told the New York Post that his rent was $875. But when Lamar purchased the building, the rent was increased to $1,400. The tenant admitted he stopped paying to protest deteriorating conditions in the building. He also claimed there was no fire escape. The emergency doors were bolted shut, and his apartment had multiple leaks, roaches, and mice. Lamar proceeded with evicting the tenants despite reportedly defaulting on the $4.1 million loan he took out to pay for the apartment complex. That brings us to May 2022. A man named Andrew Abdullah was accused of taking the life of a man named Daniel Enriquez on the Q train. Andrew fled the scene and was on the run. In a strange turn of events, as if he didn't have enough things to worry about, Lamar decided to insert himself into grown folks' business. Lamar stated that Andrew's aunt was one of his parishioners, and she reached out to him for help. The plan was for Andrew to turn himself in to Mayor Eric Adams, and then they would arrange for Andrew to peacefully surrender himself to the authorities. Eric said, now why am I in it? Bringing that mess up to my new job. Andrew and his family eventually showed up at the Legal Aid Society offices on their own, and city marshals stole Lamar's shine by apprehending Andrew immediately. After that incident, people accused Lamar of being a clout chaser. You think? Now, let's fast forward to July 2022. During a sermon at his Brooklyn church, Lamar was robbed at gunpoint. The suspects took off with 6 figures worth of Lamar and his wife's jewelry. The robbery was also captured on live stream. Thankfully, no one was injured. The entire ordeal went viral. While some expressed sympathy for Lamar and his family, others thought it was a setup and an attempt for the bishop to file a bogus insurance fraud claim. Lamar later confirmed that only 3 of the 15 stolen pieces were insured. The robbery also put Lamar at the top of headlines, with media outlets calling him a bling-bling pastor. The increased attention also put his past dirty deeds under a microscope. When people found out that he had been committing all sorts of alleged crimes for close to 2 decades, they really didn't think the robbery was legit. Days later, the woman named Pauline Anderson, who gave Lamar $90,000 to buy a house back in 2020, filed a lawsuit against him because he never bought the house and never paid her back. Right, because he bought his own mansion, girl. And then another parishioner came forward and said Lamar owed him thousands of dollars for work he performed during Lamar's failed campaign for Brooklyn Borough President. When asked about the allegations, Lamar told a website called Hellgate that he didn't even know the man. He added, he's just another person that wants to get paid. People are clout chasing, man. Now, back to the robbery. Come to find out, it was real. 2 of the 3 suspects were apprehended in September 2022. A 3rd suspect was killed in January 2024 during a confrontation with U.S. Marshals. Upon hearing the news, Lamar hopped on Instagram Live and expressed his willingness to officiate the man's funeral free of charge. Man, ain't nobody finna let you eulogize somebody that held you at gunpoint so you can get up there and talk about that man. Once the suspects were revealed, Lamar felt vindicated. He told the New York Times, everybody thought that I was a villain, but now they're saying I was anointed by God. No, Ninja, you still a villain, and that anointing is in God's back pocket, okay? You ain't getting none of that. He moved forward with filing lawsuits against several online and radio personalities, including a pair of $20 million defamation lawsuits against YouTubers King Jives and Larry Reed for essentially calling him a scammer. Lamar said both men caused him to lose business deals, church members, and income. While all that was going on, in December 2022, Lamar was arrested for wire fraud, attempted extortion, and lying to the authorities. Prosecutors in Manhattan said he solicited money from victims through threats or false promises of enriching them. Then he pocketed the money. He also bragged about his connection to gang members in an effort to intimidate one of the victims. In one case, he falsely claimed he could use his political connections to make millions through a business deal. The allegations raised more questions about Lamar's relationship with Eric, who finally decided to distance himself from him. About damn time. FBI agents executed a search warrant for the bishop's mobile phones, and he told them he only had one. Well, that turned out to be a lie, and it was discovered that Lamar had 2 phones, one for the plug, one for the load. Lamar pleaded not guilty and was released on a $500,000 bond. If you thought this story was over, well, it ain't. In March 2023, a new indictment was filed against Lamar after federal prosecutors accused him of fabricating bank records in an attempt to finance his New Jersey mansion. According to the New York Post, Lamar altered the bank records to make it appear that an LLC he controlled had an average balance of more than $2 million. But in fact, the account had less than $10 in it. Damn! He was hit with an additional count of wire fraud. And then in May 2023, siblings who owned a piece of property accused Lamar of filing false paperwork to claim possession of a church building that was on the property. Lamar then allegedly attempted to unlawfully evict the congregation. The siblings are suing him for $3.5 million in damages. Lamar called the lawsuit frivolous. As of this video, the bishop is facing up to 65 years in prison. His relationship with Eric has all but disintegrated, and some sources report there's trouble in his marriage.
See, we have to know that everybody that calls themselves a preacher and gets up in the pulpit on Sunday morning and tries to preach you the word of God doesn't mean that they're a holy person themselves. Doesn't mean that they're a spiritual person themselves. I truly believe that these individuals, these men, these false prophets had took it upon themselves to con the people. They see a way in to make this money, right? They see a way to make this easy money. Because people are so easily persuaded with the word of God. And if somebody's trying to give them some good hope. But see, these pastors giving out false hope because they're false prophets. From preaching in the pulpit on Sunday morning to actually going to prison. One pastor, he was going inside the prisons, supposedly supposed to be preaching the word of God. And what is he in there doing? He's messing with the female inmates. Now, God wouldn't do such a thing like that. Jesus wouldn't do such a thing like that. These so-called pastors are dwelling in sin that is unimaginable for a person that is working for God, for a person that is supposed to be a representation of how we're supposed to live our lives on a day-to-day basis, walking a righteous path. You have to be careful. I done said this before. You have to be careful of the people that you follow, because they can be leading you right off the cliff.